This is Johnny Enlow. If you don't know him, he's a Trump theologist. He kind of represents the Trump theology like wing of the Republican Party. It's a really good insight into how they view things. Like, do they think that Trump is violating the Constitution, for example? He is, objectively, violating the Constitution. But do they think so? Listen to this.
We're actually experiencing some things that in some ways violate some aspects of the Constitution because there is a needing to reclaim the nation now.
So yes, the answer is yes. They do believe that Trump is violating the Constitution. That couldn't be any clearer, right? This guy, by the way, knows congressmen, prays over congressmen on stage with them regularly. Extremely influential in the Trump theology movement, or just in the evangelical movement generally. Very well known. And not just in the United States either. Very well known across the world.
Well, isn't that purportedly in an emergency act by the president, which we are under? Yes. He has the right to thwart the Constitution. He just pretends not to.
Wow. He has the right to thwart the Constitution for emergencies. No, he doesn't. Doesn't matter what emergency is going on. You don't have the right to thwart the Constitution. Like what?
Just pretends not to.
Right. But him.
I don't want to state your case there, but yeah.
No, I want you to.
He's pretending to go by the Constitution as long as he can, even though he doesn't have to right now, because we're in an emergency, a state of emergency.
No, that's not how it works. Sometimes some governments allow for emergency powers to exist, but every time a dictator comes in, they always abuse the emergency powers, which is why emergency powers should be taken very seriously and be put down immediately when the emergency is over. For example, Justin Trudeau declared a state of emergency when there was this big protest happening, I think a trucker protest or something, and they claimed that he would never put the emergency powers down, and he did. And that was the end of it. I think something like that happened in Australia as well, not a few years ago. People worry that dictators are going to take those emergency powers and abuse them. And that's exactly what Donald Trump is doing. Emergency powers, I would venture as far as to say they shouldn't exist. If there's a genuine, real, actual emergency, Congress should be able to come together and solve that emergency. I mean, I'd be willing to hear arguments for or against, but one man should not have emergency powers that expand to that degree. These people have been complaining about how Joe Biden was a dictator for 4 straight years. And now we have an actual dictator, a real, actual authoritarian dictator. And they are jumping over backwards to defend him and justify him breaking the Constitution. Emergency powers are defined in the Constitution. So if he's using emergency powers, then it's not unconstitutional. That's not what's happening. He's just violating the Constitution. Oh yeah, and I'm sorry, and one more thing. There is no emergency. What emergency? There's no emergency happening right now. Why would he be using these powers?
The state of emergency. I think that's what...
Yeah, so for instance, his statements against media and calling out CNN, MSNBC by names, ABC, and the way he's gone after them could be considered, if they were fair media, it could be considered in some way unfair persecution of them. But because he's actually telling the truth that they are compromised, they're not true media outlets. They are compromised agents of...
Look, it doesn't matter. Fox News is the most partisan, radicalized news outlet out there. And they spew all kinds of nonsense that doesn't give Biden the right, when he was president, to sue them, to persecute them, to shut them down. Guess what? The president is not the arbiter of truth. The media is supposed to hold people accountable. It is a method of holding people accountable, and he's trying to erase that.
The darkness that he's trying to rescue the nation from, he's allowed to state certain things that wouldn't normally... be acceptable, we'll put it that way.
So you're clearly saying he's doing things that are bad, objectively bad, that we would not want a president to do. Taking advantage of situations, manipulating things and people and situations, and you're excusing that because it's Donald Trump. the same cult of personality formed around pretty much every dictator in history. Hitler, Kim Jong-un, they all have cults of personality like this, where people become obsessed with them, think that they're godlike creatures, godlike figures. This cult of personality forms and it makes them scandal-proof. They could literally shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and it wouldn't matter. They'll be loved anyway. Sign up for my Patreon. I'd really appreciate that very much. It would mean so much to me. This is like a really precarious moment in history, in U.S. history, and for me personally, so it would mean a lot if you sign up for my Patreon. Check out cultarchive.org. I did a cult test, basically, where you can see if you're in a cult, and you can look at the historical tests of other groups that already went through this. Also, check out my merch. I have a whole bunch of really cool shirts and stuff. Really interesting. I would really appreciate that. So this guy and many people like him, like Kat Kerr, have a completely warped sense of reality. They have this whole conspiracy theory. It's a QAnon conspiracy where they think after the Civil War, after the Confederacy broke up from the Union, when they rejoined, they believe that they didn't rejoin into the U.S. government. They rejoined into the corporation of the United States, basically. It's a sovereign citizen, garbled, nonsensical thing. It's not true at all. And they say we've only ever had like 17 presidents or whatever. Like Ulysses S. Grant was the last president that was, of the United States government. And they believed that on March 4th, 2021, which was 2 months after Biden was inaugurated, they believed that Trump was going to be secretly inaugurated in a military bunker by the White Hat military because every constitutional amendment applied after 1865 when they rejoined into the corporation of the United States. They think every constitutional amendment that came about after that is null and void. Well, they changed Inauguration Day after it rejoined with the Confederacy from March 4th to January 20th or 21st or whatever. January 20th, I guess. So they think that Biden had a fake inauguration and Trump had a real secret inauguration where he was the real president behind the scenes for those 4 years. Check this out. This is from around March 4th of 2021.
This is something he is saying. That's why I'm emphasizing, even because sometimes we can get into talking about what's going on behind the scenes. I think a whole lot going on behind the scenes. I could have a 30-minute conversation about what I think is really going on there. I'll just say I think we have two presidents. Essentially, one's over the corporation, one's over the republic. One has the essential machinery of the economy and the essential machinery of the military, and one has things to do with other things. That you can say what's left, a little niche there.
So I think he's saying that he believed that Donald Trump controlled the military and the economy, which makes me ask all kinds of questions about egg prices and why they were complaining so much about the economy in the first place if Trump was controlling it. And Biden had everything else? Question mark.
And there's a moment of quick confrontation coming where it's going to require that things go back fully visibly in the order that the Lord has said. And that is President Trump will be there. Again, he is. We'll find out. He's been ruling and reigning and again, accomplishing things that he could not accomplish even if he was in the full role of standing in the presidential seat because of the attacks he would be getting. It's really saving him. There's a kind of a strategic wisdom to...
What, you can't do your job if you're being criticized? Really? Come on. Presidents have been criticized throughout history. Of course you can do your job even if you're being criticized. Get a grip. I'm sorry, man. It's just too much.
A strategic wisdom to do all you can while they have to shoot at somebody else.
So he is not the only one that went down that road, that bizarre road. Kat Kerr also bought into this sovereign citizen nonsense.
Right now, I declare and I call forth our president to take his rightful place, Trump, to come forth right now, step into your destiny that God gave you, called you, appointed you, and anointed you for this time to declare over America, to help America. This is his choice, and we call you forth right now in the name of Jesus Christ, who is with you, who will always be with you. The people are with you. The prophets of God are with you. The military is with you. So come forth, step into your destiny now, saith the Lord.
So she believed that she was going to pound her little stick around and Trump was going to take control of the government in 2021. March 4th, 2021 was the day. It came and went and nothing happened. Nobody said anything. Biden was still in control. Biden was still pulling the strings, and these people were still bitching about it as though Trump was not in power. So did they believe it? I don't think so. I think they were full of shit, like Kat Kerr. I think she was full of it. She knew Donald Trump was not in power, but needed to pretend that he was because they falsely prophesied that Trump took control or that he was going to win the election. Absurd. And it's honestly sad to see these people making excuses for Trump ignoring the Constitution now. Anyway, tell me what you think about it in the comments.